So thank you for coming today. As you know, my name is Fola Motunde. I'm a career coach, and I'm here every Thursday at 7 p.m. for an hour. You can follow me on all the handles. I'll just show you that actually on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Career Clinic Net. You can follow me there. Also, you can follow me on TikTok as Coach Fola, or handle is Fola Motunde. You can follow me there. And I'm live on TikTok every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for 30 minutes. And why am I doing this? One, because I know what coaches have done for me in my career. I know how my mentors have helped me to climb the ladder, how they've taken me on their wings, and how I've stood on other people's shoulders. So I know the importance of having somebody to tell you what you need to do. And most importantly, telling you some tips of what you don't really know. And that's the role of a coach. So I encourage everyone, you need to have a mentor, you need to change, that landscape this year. If you haven't started changing your landscape, you need to start doing that this year. Okay, it's so important so that you have your mentors there, you have your coaches there, and people coach us for different things. You don't really have one coach for everything, because not one person doesn't know everything. But it's important for you to look at the areas of your gaps, and then look at those, coaches that will help you to navigate those areas to get the best from what you are looking for. Okay, so tonight is a very important topic, which I'm going to be treating, and I hope that at some point I'm going to be diving into it even deeper in a book to really understand why do we have so much hesitant? Why do we have so much the feeling of being stuck in one position? Why are we not moving forward? So we're going to be covering the limiting myths about success. Okay. And this presentation really covers not only career people, it also covers people in business as well. So if you need me to send the recording or link to anyone after this, let me know. I'll be able to share that with anyone that needs to obviously watch some of the content of this presentation. So we're going to cover definitions. We're going to look at the skills versus identity. We're going to look at just a minute. We're going to look at the identity and career business success. How does it link up together? And then we're going to cover question and answer at the end of it. But like I said, I'm not going to finish it. I don't want to pack everything in this presentation tonight. So I'm going to continue next week to understand how we can walk ourselves into our full identity and begin to make the right moves and leave the hesitant, leave the the searching for perfection, leave the procrastination, and take your move. Okay, and start doing stuff that you need to do. So that's what this presentation is about. The whole of this month we've been looking at hidden behaviors. If you want to know more about that, last week we covered some hidden behaviors, so you might want to maybe access that as well, that presentation as well. So let's look at some limiting myths about success. Now, one that we're also familiar with: I need more qualification before I can succeed. That's a lie. I need more. Somebody that doesn't have as much qualification as you is in a high paid job. Why? I always ask myself that question, but why is that happening? Okay. I'm too old to start over again. That's another lie. People start over at 70, they start over at 60. I shared story of a woman of 70 who was graduating in United States. She just completed her MBBS medical qualification in the USA, and she was graduating, and it was all over the news. At 70, if you got the energy, you have the strength, nothing stops you. Okay, you are in good health, you are fine, you are thinking well, you're nothing limits you. And even if there's some other areas where you feel you can't, maybe you need help, support with, you get support. My background determines my future. That's a myth. It's got nothing to do with your background. Okay, we design our future. Okay, we can take on a new perspective about our lives. It's all in our hands to do. We all have the knowledge. And one of the things that really, anytime I go to conferences, and one of the things that really bothers me many years ago when I was younger than this is we go to conferences, 3 days conference, and we leave those conferences all charged up. Okay. And then a week after, every single thing you learned from that conference is out of the window. Why does that happen? And that is why I'm having this presentation tonight, because I feel there's a need for us to begin to understand the hidden behavior that is limiting us to progress. Okay. Another myth about success is confidence comes up before action. That's also another one, is a lie. I can tell you that. Confidence is built when you are in motion, when there's an action. Your confidence will rise. Okay. If, for example, you've never baked any cake before in your life, the day you mix that cake and you put it in the oven, whether it turns out burnt, whether it turns out, all sticky and gluey inside, but you get excited because you were able to go through the process and you were able to put it in the oven and it's come out of the oven. Okay. So all these things are sort of myths that we have in our minds. Successful people don't experience fear. That is also another lie. It's not possible. Everybody, every human being, we all experience fear. What you do with it is what makes a difference. Some people, their fear kicks them into curiosity, and curiosity kicks them into taking an action, and that action kicks them into confidence. But from some other people, fear kicks them into, they're stuck in that one place. The fear of moving forward, the fear of moving into another job, the fear of leaving that job, the fear of, oh, what if, my organization closed down? What if the fear just goes on and on? So the experiences of life is the same for everyone. It's what we do with it. That's what makes a difference. Then there's another myth about I have to become someone else to succeed. That is also not true. The greatest, the success in life is when it is whole, when you own it, when it is you, when you're authentic. That is success, because you're not trying to become somebody else. You're on your own lane. That is when it is beautiful. You are not comparing yourself with anybody. You are not competing with anybody, but you are going to you're just following the passion you have, and you are pushing that passion forward. So a lot of these myths, okay, they are really not true, and we need to get rid of them. And part of us growing in understanding is reframing our thinking. It's very important that we reframe our thinking. I have been doing that. Whatever I say to people to do, I challenge myself every single day. That, are you doing what you're saying? I challenge myself. And since I started the career coaching process, even I have changed. Even my mindset has changed, because I challenge myself each time, right? So your skills open doors. That's true. But your identity determines how far you go. And we don't pay enough attention to our identity. And that's why I'm having this talk. And like I said, for those that just joined us, we're going to be having the same talk next week. So if you missed this, you can ask me for the link to the recorded video, but we're going to continue. So we're going to continue this next week. I'm going to wrap it up next week, but it's so important. It was just like a light bulb, really, that just came off of my head. And I just thought, no, I need to address this. I need to address the issue of identity and how it relates to success. Okay, so it's very important. So your skills open doors. Your identity determines how far you go. That's the truth of the matter. Okay, now, another one I want to share with you is let's have a quick reflection on this. And we can, I like it to be interactive, because I believe there's the power in interaction, there's power in us exchanging words, sharing our opinions, because somebody will learn from it. Okay. So let's reflect on this question. Have you ever felt qualified for an opportunity but still doubted yourself? Is the question. I want you to think about it. Have you ever felt qualified for an opportunity, but you still doubted yourself? Doubting yourself means you give yourself an excuse. There's a way those excuses will come. Thank you, Kenny. I'm asking that question. It's happened to me as well. And you will talk yourself out of the opportunity by giving yourself different reasons why you can't do it. Thank you, Latemi. We will talk ourselves out of those opportunities. They are there. The opportunities are there. But there is always something that you talk yourself out of. Whether you want to use your family as an example, or because I have to do this with my children, or it means I have to go back to school and study, and all those excuses, right? They don't really matter because you have an opportunity in front of you. And if you take that opportunity, everything else will fall in line. And that's how life is. If you notice about the areas of your life that you've taken opportunity, you've actually you've gone into that project, or you've gone into that environment of, a new environment of work, or maybe you just started a project, you'll find that everything one way or the other finds a way of rearranging themselves. But the sad thing about it is that opportunities don't always come back. Okay. For those that are joining us, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm here every Thursday at 7 p.m. It's an hour webinar. I try to expand whatever I've spoken about on TikTok, trying to expand it here to empower you, to make you think differently and take the right step. Okay. And that's what the whole objective is. All right. So yes, thank you for those that have answered that question. Have you ever felt qualified for an opportunity but still doubted yourself? And that doubt comes in different ways. Fear of change, it comes with excuses, like I said, about family, or I don't have a car, I don't have money, so many things will come that makes you feel I'm not able to take that leap. Okay. So everybody, we've all gone through that experience. All right. Now, let's go into definition of skills. I'm not going to list, we all know what skills are, but let me just remind us. Skills are learned abilities, competencies that were developed through education or through practice or experience. So whether you've gone into an educational institution, or you've been, you've gone to volunteer in a particular industry and you've learned as an intern, whatever it is, you've got the practice, you've got the experience. Now, technical knowledge and professional expertise are also part of particular skills that you really need the technical knowledge to be able to develop those skills. All right. And then transferable abilities used to perform tasks effectively. There are some transferable abilities that we gain in particular industries. And you can use them elsewhere. So like customer service, for example, all right, you can use those skills elsewhere. All right. Now, so that is the definition of skills. Okay. Skills are visible and they are measurable. Okay. They are important and necessary for growth. But skills alone do not guarantee fulfillment or success. Can I repeat that again? Skills are visible, they are measurable, but they are very important and they're necessary for growth. We know that. When you go for an interview, when you go to any job, they will be looking for you to tell them about your skills. But skills alone do not guarantee fulfillment or success, whether in business or whether in career. Okay, it's important that we think about this this topic. So how do we define identity now? Definition of identity, bringing it down to career, bringing it down to business. Yeah. Identity is your internal perception of who you are. Okay? The internal perception of who you are, the beliefs you hold about yourself. Okay? The beliefs you hold about yourself, your sense of purpose, value, and worth. That's your identity. Right? Sense of purpose, value, and worth. The story you tell yourself about your potential. I love that, actually. What story are you telling yourself about your potential? What are you wrapping? When you talk about your potential, what other things are you wrapping around that potential? Different things. Life throws a lot of things at us that makes us quote our potential with different things. Okay? The times of failure, the season of failure, the separation, different things that happens to us in life, generally. But unfortunately, right, your potential is intact. But what you wrap around it, right, is your choice. The more you put layers and layers and layers on your potential, the more difficult anybody's going to see it. And at some point, you will not even see that potential again because it's all cloaked with the challenges of life, the rejection, the abandonment, different things that happen to us in life. So what story are you telling yourself about your potential? The foundation that shapes behavior and decisions. I love that definition. Our identity is the foundation that shapes our behavior and the decision making that we have in life. I want you to really look at this point carefully, because maybe you'll never come across any coach talk to you about this, but I'm talking to you about this from my experience, two, from experience of others that I've coached, that I've helped, and those I know have been able to break that, that limiting behavior to begin to fly. Right? I have so many, testimonies, and I hope that at some point before the end of the year, we have time when we begin to talk about what people have gained from Career Clinic Net and what they are doing differently. Because that's what I really, that is the whole purpose of me being here. Right? So identity, your internal perception. What do you think about yourself? Okay? What belief do you hold about yourself? What's your sense of purpose, your value, your worth? What type of story are you telling yourself about your potential? You know what the potential is, but what story are you telling around it, that potential? And then the foundation that shapes the behavior. That is what the identity is when in this context that we're talking about. That is our identity. It's internal. Okay? It's internal. So identity influences a lot of things. It influences confidence. Your identity influences your leadership presence. Identity influences visibility, boundaries. Yeah? Your identity, your career choices is all linked, because the identity will influence these things. The identity influences business growth, risk taking, self worth is all linked together. So we cannot put it aside and continue to, like this month, last month as well, I've been saying, everybody gives the advice. All the advice that coaches will give you are generic advice. And to be frank with you, if you're going to get anything from any coach, you better have a one-to-one session with a coach, because that coach would then dive into all the areas of your life, the things that are really blocking you, and try to unblock you. But if you're just going to just hold on to what you read on YouTube or you read on LinkedIn and you're applying to yourself, it might not work. In fact, most of the time it wouldn't work because it's not specific to you. So identity is so, so important. Welcome for those that are joining us now. You've missed some few bits of the presentation, but you can always, ask me for the link, and please share with people that you know need it, especially people that they've gone through trauma and they are now in a position where they want to move forward, but they don't know how to. People that have either been away from work, 2, 10 years, 5 years, whatever, how many years they've been away from, and they want to come back, they don't know how to. Okay, this sort of information is vital. And for those of us that are also transitioning, you might have been in the same work for a long time, in the same organization for a long time, and you want to transition. How do you do it? How do you repackage yourself? How do you, begin to think differently about your potential and package that potential differently? Okay, those are all the things that I'm on about this year, especially. That's what I'm on about this year. Okay, now, so identity is internal and deeply personal. It determines what opportunities we pursue, reject, or sabotage. It's very important that you note this. These are very big words, okay? But it's important that we note these things. All right? So identity, sorry, I'm just going back. I was just letting some few people come in. Identity is internal and deeply personal, okay? It determines what opportunities you pursue. So your identity is what will either support you to pursue what you want to pursue. It will be the one to let you reject what you want to reject, or even sabotage your plans. So it's something that we need to think about really seriously. Okay. Now, interaction now, right? Quickly. What's the time? Yeah, we're good for time. Now, what internal story have you been telling yourself about your career or business? What internal story have you been telling yourself about your career or business? Okay. I want you to think about it. If you want to take it, take it. Let's have a session. You can raise up your hand, you can unmute, but let's have a conversation, okay, about that. All right. So what internal story have you been telling yourself? I've shared mine before. And for those that have not heard mine before, I have always thought No, I can't sell anything. I don't know how to sell. I can't sell. I don't know how to sell any goods. I'm not a business person. I don't know how to sell any. Can you imagine? I did my MBA many years ago, and that's Masters in Business Administration. So how can somebody that's done a Masters in Business Administration continue to say I can't sell anything? I don't know how to sell anything. You know what I mean? It's a wrong mindset. So I have to shift that mindset. I have to get rid of it. That I'm sorry, I can sell. Now I can sell, right? Thank you, Kemi. I'm not contributing anything strategically to my organization. Exactly. Now, that's the internal story that you've been telling yourself about your career. Okay. Anybody else wants to take it? I've just said something. It's nice for us to talk about this thing so that we can really learn from one another. What internal story have you been telling yourself about your career or your business? I want to hear from everybody on the platform tonight. Okay. Anybody else wants to go for that? Kemi, you can type it in the comments. Yeah, in the chat. Or you can unmute and talk about it. What internal story have you been telling yourself? Okay, thank you. Oluwaseyi says, I'm not good with execution. Okay, that's the internal story you're telling yourself. I want more, please. Let's talk about the internal stories that we are telling ourselves about our career or our business. Anybody wants to go ahead? Desola?
I want to speak.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Tope Mevore.
Yeah.
I was very good at speaking. I was the head of finance and all. But after I had my setback,
Yeah.
I keep saying to myself, oh no, I don't think I can do this. No, I wouldn't be. Even if I'm having an interview and the questions are getting too much, I'll say to them, you know what? I've enjoyed this interview, but I might have to put an end to it because it's a bit tasking. So I feel that I am the one killing it rather than looking at an opportunity to exude what you can do. And sometimes, yes, I like the way you said it. How can you be in finance and not speak? That is the right sort. But something something holds you back sometimes.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You enjoy seeing other people say it, but you to do it or something, you just can't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that is. So
Okay.
that is something that I'd like to hear from others, how they feel about it, because it was never a problem for me. But now I feel no, I can't. You know, I I don't know. Even to get back into work has been a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate you sharing that personal experience with us tonight. Thank you for sharing that. And I can see also in the chat. Thank you for those that are sharing in the chat. Temitope is saying, I am satisfied. I'm satisfied where I am as long as I can put food on my family table. Let me stay where I am. Again, internal story. We're talking about internal story and we're being real here. That we're telling ourselves, and that's what is keeping us in that position. Okay. MOH, I think Mo, if I pronounce it properly. I'm not good at networking. I'm not a communicator. I'm not good at selling. Exactly. I've been there, Mo. I've been there, and I can tell you what I did to get myself out of it. Okay. Now, Kemi as well. There's too much to learn to get where I want. That's another one. There's too much to learn to get to where I want to get to. Right now, thank you for everyone that's shared the experiences, and I'm so happy that everyone on this platform we're on the same page. Either you've been through it already or you're actually in it, and I can see that a couple of people are in that situation. When you look at your inspiration. Della's just posted I might not be capable even though I could. Yeah. So there is a dilemma. Can I do it? Can I not do it? Can I do it? Can I not do it? So that's the dilemma. Okay. So what we are talking about is about internal stories, which is linked to our identity internal. Remember what I said, it's nothing to do with the skills anymore, because if it's to do with the skills, right, the world will be a different place. Okay. But we all know that it's not only about the skills. That's why you find that some people don't even they don't have as much, they don't even have more half of the skill that you have, and they are in a different position, the higher position. Okay. Now somebody can come to me and say to me, well, we're in the United Kingdom, there's discrimination, do you know something? For me, that's old news. That is just old news. That is part of the limitations we put on ourselves. Today, we're operating on a global platform, right? It's no longer about you being stuck in an organization. You can be relevant across the globe, and somebody will pick you up. Okay? Somebody will pick you up out of the millions. Okay? Now, the next question I've got here, it says, are you operating from purpose or survival? And I can see that already Temitope is pointing to survival. That, look, let me just stay here and put food on my family's table. That's enough for me. So those are internal, they are totally internal, and they're all valid. And that is one of the things that I've been talking about as well from last week, that the first place of accepting you need change is agreeing that there is a problem. And I love the way, I love the way that I'm just letting somebody in at the moment. Just a minute. Yeah. All right, they're in. Yeah. I love the way Tokwe broke it down for us, using her own life as an example and the reality of what is stopping her. Okay. What is really stopping her going forward? Okay. So operating from purpose is different from just survival. Purpose will push you. Purpose will poke you. Okay. If you let it, it will poke you, it will drive you. All right. So that's very important to note. Thank you for all those that have shared. And I think it's very important that we continue at this point. Right. So let's look at this again. Skills may create opportunities, but identity sustains success. So what are the differences between skills and identity? And I really want you to begin to look at this topic, because it's really going to be the key for you to move forward, right? No matter where you're stuck right now, this is going to be is a key that will unlock that your thinking. Now, skills are about what you can do. Identity is who you believe you are. Never lose your identity about who you are. It's an internal thing, who you believe you are. Skills is external. That's why it's very easy to talk about skills. But identity is internal. It's internal. Skills are learned. You will learn skills, okay? Like we've already covered that. But identity is developed through experience and self-awareness. No matter what you've gone through in the past 5 years, in the past 10 years, good, bad, and ugly, I can let you know that there are some skills, there are some abilities that experience has developed in you. Okay? If you are self-aware enough to begin to understand those experiences have taught you resilience, they have taught you, how to manage conflict, for example. They've taught you so many things. So identity is developed through experiences and self-awareness. When we go through the challenge, we always have a lot of times that when we go through things in life, in maybe a very traumatic experience, for example, we always want to go back to where we left. And that is part of the challenge. Because the question is that, should you be going back after all those experiences to the same place where you've left? Or who are you becoming? What have you gained from the experience that you've just had? Your self-awareness around that experience, what really is it? And where should you be heading? Skills can open doors, but identity determines whether you will walk through them. That's why a lot of people have so many opportunities. Somebody will call them. We also use excuses. Oh, I want to go and pray about it. What are you praying about? You'll be praying for opportunities to come, opportunities right there in front of you, and saying you want to go and pray. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It is ridiculous, right? We go very spiritual. about things. Again, blocking things. Skills measured by qualification. Okay? But identity reflected through behavior and mindset. So it's again understanding the role that you need to get somebody else to help you navigate that way forward. You need help. When I got to that point, I had to go and look for a coach. I had to get a mentor because I knew that this mindset has to go. But how do I get rid of it? How do I restructure it? Right? I need somebody else to look at me and put that mirror in front of me to say, actually, no, this is who you are now. And this is who you are going to be. You are becoming this person. You are becoming this business. You are becoming this role. And that is where you ought to be walking through. Right? So it's very important. The skills versus identity. Any questions at this point? Any questions? If anybody has any questions, you can stop me as I continue with the presentation. So why identity matters? Why knowing your identity is important? Because identity gives you clarity. The reason why we're stuck is because we're not clear. Where am I going? What am I going to do? What can I do next? What other things can I do apart from this role? What other things can I navigate to do? It gives you confidence. It highlights purpose to you. Okay? When you are clear about your identity, your inner being, alignment, it gives you alignment. You are able to relate to who you are becoming, where you want to be found, associations you want to keep, the networks you want to keep.
Let me catch your don't
Okay?
leave the door.
All those things you will be able to identify with it and align with it. Okay? And again, identity gives you emotional resilience. Authenticity is very key. This is very important. I say a lot about this. I say to people, like, for example, like me, I have different roles, but it's me. I don't shy away from any of my roles. I don't try to program people to try to, receive me in a particular way. No, I'm who I am. My name is Fola Motoday. I'm who I am. And I do what I do because I have the passion to help people. I have the passion to support people and share my experiences with people and tell my story to people. Okay? Now, without identity clarity, you begin to compare yourself with other people constantly. If you are that person comparing yourself, we started the same career together. Now she's a director. I'm still, in middle management. By this time, my mates, they most of them are already chief executive, and we start comparing ourselves. Yeah. Then our career paths become very confusing. We're not too sure. Should I stay in this career or should I move forward? Yeah. Another one is individuals seek validation externally. We're always looking for external validation. You want somebody else to validate you. You need to validate yourself first. When you validate yourself, others will validate you because you own your space, you own your lane, you know who you are, you know what you are good at. Okay? Even in the organization that you're working for at the moment, you know what they will bring your way because they know you are good at it. Okay? That is part of your identity and your clarity. Yeah? Without identity clarity, fear, self-doubt increases. We keep giving excuses. We keep saying, oh, I have to wait for this. I have to I have to, different things. Even when the opportunities are coming your way, you find a way to talk yourself out of those opportunities. And so a lot of people that are talented, they remain hidden. Only those that are bold. Unfortunately, the people that are bold that are out there are not as talented as people that are not out in the limelight. It's so funny in life. Okay. The people that are talented will always remain hidden because they've not come to realize their own identity and own it and been able to transform and get the help they need. You need to get the help that you need. Because if you don't get that help, you are still going to be in the same circle. I don't want anybody having this experience next year. If I'm talking about it, I'm telling you, it's time for you to move forward, get help. That's why I'm here. That's why I have the boot camp as well. that you can get into that boot camp, and let's begin to move forward together. Okay, so important. Now, my next slide is talking about identity and career pathways. How does identity shape career success? It also has an impact on career success. So because your identity influences all these things, yeah, it will affect what the sort of career you pursue, your willingness to lead, right? If you're going to be a leader, you have to be willing to be a leader. You have to be able to negotiate your salary for your worth. You have to have confidence in networking. I know somebody mentioned about I'm not a good communicator. All those things are the things you've told yourself. But there are people that don't even speak as much English as yourself, and they are already public speakers. Have you seen public speakers that are so passionate, but even their English is not very clean, but they're trying their best, but they get the message out. The fact that they have the confidence to do that, people follow them. People follow them. That you are not eloquent, you are not speaking like any Queen's English, but people are following you because there is a confidence that oozes out from that person. They own their space and they have their identity. Clearly, they know exactly where they want to go. So networking confidence is also part of it. It will affect your networking confidence, because the people that you should be talking to at work, you won't be talking to them. The influencers at work, you won't identify them. Okay. Personal branding, if I ask how many people here have got their LinkedIn page up to date, I don't know how many people, because visibility is always an issue. A lot of my clients will say, "Oh, I don't post it. I don't want you to." I'm thinking, hello, why don't you? What is sharing your experience with other people? What is it going to do? It's not going to rob you of your identity. But if you are looking into a business proposal, if you are looking into another career pathway, you will have to showcase your skills to people. So that again is one of the challenges, because you begin to question yourself. Oh, I need to be good, look good enough. And sometimes for me personally, that's why I don't do makeup, because I can't keep it up. I'm telling you the truth. I cannot keep up makeup, looking good. It's nice to look good, but the idea of me looking like a model because I want to come and speak to people is not. I'm not going to. It's not part of my. It's not me. Okay, but it doesn't stop me from experiencing, public speaking, talking to people. I put my effort into it, but it's not going to. It's not going to shape me. Because other people are doing it, good luck to them. They're doing it. I love people that are able to achieve that. Put on different makeup, put on different wigs. I love it's beautiful. But I am who I am. Okay? So owning ourselves and identifying what we are good at should not limit it. Some people say, "Oh, I don't want to show my face on any flyer. I don't want." Now there are people that are making millions without showing their face on the flyer. But it depends on the industry. Some industry, they want to know who you are. Like a coach, I want to know the coach. I want to know whether you're authentic. You cannot be sending me messages and then you think I'm going to come and call your number. No, I want to know who you are. I want to go on your LinkedIn page and see what you're doing, right? So there's some industries that is not going to work in that industry because people want to see authenticity. They want to see the human being behind whatever the vision is, okay? So visibility and influence is always one of the areas. And I can see some of my clients are growing into making networks at work. One of them is Ade. I think Ade is here. She told me so many stories about how she's reaching out now to people at work and is opening doors to her. The opportunity she didn't know was there, she's beginning to open doors to her because she's now been aware, of the need to speak up, the need to say, I have a vision here. I can do this. Can you support me here? Can you? And if you've been working in that organization for over, 3 years, then your manager would want to listen to you. They're already waiting for you, but they're just thinking, well, this person is unambitious, so let's leave them there. But as soon as you step in, you'll be surprised how quickly the door will open. The entrepreneurial growth as well is very important, okay? So all these things, identity will influence it one way or the other. So that's why it's important for us to begin to think. For those in business, identity and business success, identity in entrepreneurship, many business owners struggle with visibility. They struggle with underpricing. Even I fall into this category as well, right? Struggling with underpricing, the fear of expansion, Yeah, we all have one thing or the other that we're struggling with, but we can take a new leaf and step out of that situation. Imposter syndrome, that happens to everybody when you go to work, a new place, but it shouldn't be something that would be prolonged. All this experience I'm talking about should not be prolonged. When they become prolonged, you are stuck. And that we cannot afford for that to happen. Okay? Inconsistent confidence, fear of rejection, all these things will always come and play on our minds. Okay? They play on our mind because business growth requires identity expansion. So you need to own you need to be happy with your brand. Stop limiting it to a particular set of people because you are comfortable with it. So I'll give you my own testimony. I think Kemi is here. I mean, I was on a platform for 3 years or so since 2022, I think. Unique Woman. And this year, I gave them enough notice. I gave them a notice in September last year that I'm going to be leaving. And this year I just decided I'm leaving the platform. I want to go into the marketplace. I want to go to the marketplace. That is a challenge, right? Did I have any fear? Of course I had fear. The fear of what would happen. Maybe nobody would come onto the platform. When I started the Thursday meetings, webinars, I'm sure some people would have been here that are here tonight that there was only 2 of us or 3 of us on the platform. But tonight we're 14. Thank God for that. Okay? But what I'm saying is there would always be that fear of rejection, the fear of not being able to do it right. But you must go for it. Don't let it be the blocker. I've always done this way. My audience is church people. Good. But hey, if it is time for you to step out, you need to step out. Okay? You need to step out and stop limiting the skills you've got. Because the world is big. The people that are looking for your potential, looking for your gift, looking for what you can do, there is millions of people out there. Okay? If I can do it, you can do it. Right? You can do it. Stop limiting yourself to the comfort zone. We covered that last week. Comfort zone. Do you know how many people I've chased? Some people I've spoken to. Come, let's do this. Come, let's do that. And one way or another, they wiggle them away from it. And then they come and say, because I was busy, I have to do this. All the activities they lined up for me, right? They have nothing to do with their own potential. Every activity, 99% is other people's work, other people's agenda. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we keep chasing other people's agenda? We crowd them up, and we've covered this on this platform as well. Being busy and not moving forward. No progress. You're just busy. But because the identity is coming into our identity is always a challenging thing, and we need to begin to walk through that. So tonight, if you are not taking anything out of this conversation, I want you to take what you are going to take out of it. Because like I said, for those that just joined late, we're going to be concluding this next week. So don't miss it. Everybody's here, 7:00. Be here next week. We're going to be concluding. I'm going to be telling you some key ingredients of moving forward. It's now up to you not to again feel their excuses coming. The hesitant. Don't be that person that will hesitate. Be that person that will take it on and say, I'm ready. Yeah. So what happens when skills and identity are misaligned? Now, these are the things that happen, and I've already covered some of it. Burnout, lack of fulfillment. You feel drained. You feel like you are being used. People have used, some of my clients have used that word. I feel used. You just have self-doubt. Right? And you know something, these things are valid, especially if you've gone through divorce, if you've gone through, grief. They are valid. I'm not saying these things are not meant to happen. They would happen, but you need to come out of it. Life would happen to us, right? People have lost their loved ones. They've had divorce. They've had, repossessions. There's been trauma. There've been accidents. They've been recovering from health circumstances. They are valid. That's life. But as long as you are asking for more, and there's more, your heart is saying you can do more, it's time for you to move forward. It's time for you to come out of that situation. So misalignment will come from the fear of stepping out, feeling stuck despite experience, overworking for validation, staying small to feel safe. But I'm saying to you, that desire, that passion that is telling you there's more, that you can reach out to other people, that you can give back to the community, that you can start that business, that you can expand into Africa, that you got so many things around us. You can do it. Okay? But not when there's a misalignment between skills and identity. And that is the misalignment we need to address. We need to address that misalignment. It's very important. So the truth about growth, the truth about growth is that your next level requires a different version of you. If you were in the room, I would just come and hug you and tell you that. Your next level requires a different version of you. Think about it. What were you 2-3 years ago? Where were you? 5 years ago, where were you? I have some very close friends here. I can see Sister Tunu here as well. And we've been working together for a long time. And I know the experiences we've had in the past 10 years where we were 10 years ago. But I know we're in a different place now. We're a different version of ourselves because we had to grow. And that growth requires identity expansion. Whoa. It requires identity expansion. Yeah. So real growth means thinking differently. You have to see yourself different. You have to show up different. You have to start taking aligned action. Stop people, people that waste your time. Stop it. Stop allowing people to come into your day, come into your diary, waste time, wasters, and all these things. You need to reduce all those things. You have to let go of outdated beliefs. It's very important. You have to be becoming comfortable with visibility, right? So comfortable with visibility. Let me share a testimony with you. And this is personal to me as well, but I'll share it because I think it's going to help somebody here when I'm talking about renewed thinking, because I'm talking about real life situations. I have my story, okay? Now, recently, a very close friend of mine was talking to a young lady in her maybe early 30s who has been trying to have a baby for a while. And so she called me and she said, what do you think? This is the situation. The husband is in the military, meaning that he's away from home most of the time. What should she do? And it's not really the issue of having a baby is the woman's issue, because the husband doesn't think there's a problem. But she is thinking correctly. As we all know, the biological clock of a woman is ticking. As it gets to 35, the quality of eggs begins to drop. That is biology. Is biology. It is known in science. There's no drama about it. That's just what it is. Yeah. People that want to get spiritual, let them get spiritual. But that's what it is. So when she came to me, I said to her, look, let me say something to you. What she needs to do, right? First of all, first and foremost, can you please tell her to go and freeze her eggs? I came to that understanding very late in my journey, that there's something called freezing of eggs. I didn't even know anything about it, right? But I say that to the young ones now. Go and freeze your eggs. Lo and behold, apparently, we now know, because now she's gone ahead with surrogacy and she's had a baby now. Fantastic. I was so excited when I was given this story, because I could see so many young people that will be stuck praying and praying and praying, and they'll be praying. Nobody is saying it's not right to pray. But what I'm saying to you is that there's a place to think differently and see yourself differently and show up differently and aligning the right action to your desire. Right? Now, for some of us, we didn't get the information on time. Yeah, it might be late. Yeah, that's the truth of the matter. Right? But do you know something? I still believe that even some people that got the message at the right time, they didn't do it. They were hesitant. Right? So we have to be able to call, when we're talking about growth. Why am I saying this tonight? Because I really wanted to resonate that our next level requires a different version of us. Stop overthinking. Okay? Stop thinking somebody's going to come and get you. Somebody's going to come and do it for you. Nobody's going to come and do nothing to nobody. You need to make the decision and move. I hope I'm inspiring somebody tonight. Make your decision and begin to plan and chart your way forward. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be happy. We all want to feel fulfilled. I want you to complete this sentence quickly now. And I'm going to be calling each person to complete it because we're going to be wrapping up right now. Okay. But please be here next week because we're going to be covering a lot more and just wrapping up and telling you the things that you need to do to take this forward. Right. You have to complete this sentence tonight and take this away. I am becoming someone who, you have to just complete it for yourself. And I'm going to be calling names right now. You can type yours in the chat, right? If you want to type it in the chat. I am becoming someone who speaks boldly, for example. Who are you becoming? Right? Who are you becoming? And talk about, I need you to, from the example you gave us, write down or put in the chat, I'm becoming someone who believes in our identity, who you are right now, the experiences of life, all those challenges you've gone through, you are an overcomer, you've come this far. And so that identity is strong. Yeah, I'm becoming someone who embraces my, my identity. I embrace my identity, who I am. All right. Who wants to go first? Ade, do you want to go? I am becoming someone who, tell me, Ade, who are you becoming?
Someone will believe if there's a will, there's a way. I will find a way to achieve it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Oluwase, do you want to say something? I am becoming someone who. You want to write it on the chat? Am I seeing people writing this in the chat?
I am becoming someone who knows my identity, confident to showcase my identity.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Who else? I can see somebody's written in the chat. Write yours in the chat. You need to say it boldly. I am becoming. Yes, I can see Vivian. Vivian has said, I'm becoming someone who speaks boldly. Wonderful.
Boldly.
Wonderful. I'm
Yeah,
becoming.
because
Go
yeah,
on.
because I speak French, and then when I'm speaking English, I always have some fear that I'll make a mistake.
No.
And when I go to meeting, sometimes when I have the knowledge, I, I'll be feeling like, hey, oh my God, when I say maybe it's wrong, then somebody will say it, and I say, oh gosh. So, but now I'm speaking confidently and
Good.
leading others.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And go ahead with that.
Thank you.
Don't let any mistake stop you. Just keep speaking at the meetings. Right. If you need
Thank
to
you.
write some points down on your paper, write some points down on your paper.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Vivian. Now,
Thank
I
you.
can see, let's see the others, what the others are writing.
And this meeting also is building me a lot.
Wonderful. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for that feedback. Yeah. Be here next week. I'm here next week. We're going to continue this conversation. I want to see everybody write something. I am becoming, Kemi says, I'm becoming someone who knows and stands in my identity unapologetically. Wonderful. I love that. Standing in your identity. Let people be who they want to be. I am unique. I am who I am. Right? And Mo is saying, I am becoming an excellent communicator. Wonderful. You are becoming. So there is work to do, but you are on the journey there. Right? There is work to do, but you are on the journey there. Let's go on. Who else is written something there?
I want to say,
Yes, go ahead.
I know what I want to become. I know what it is, but there's something holding me back. I know what I want to become. I know what I can do, but there's something that makes me. I don't know. There's this. It's either the fear of getting out there, or just being. There's something holding me back. But I
I think
know.
it's for you, Tokwe, I think it's fear. Fear is part of it. And also, you are always thinking backwards about where you are. Okay? Sometimes and you're thinking, because I've done all this, right? More is expected of me. But really, who's expecting it of you?
Nobody.
Aha. Let's start from that. So your expectation, you build it on yourself. You build that wall yourself. thinking this is what, when people see my CV, this is what they're expecting from me. But that's not true. Okay. But you need a coach. You need to be on my next boot camp. Okay. That's what I'll say to you. You need to be on the next boot camp. Yeah. You need to be on the next boot camp, because that is where we're going to be going through a lot of things to move forward. And part of it is for me to be your accountable partner. I see the progress. I'll be able to monitor that. Winnie, thank you. I'm becoming someone who is deploying my gifts as I ought to that multifaceted identity. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. I'm looking at the time. It's been great to have all of you on the platform tonight. Let's continue next week. Okay, next week we will now begin to look at the different stories of people and what what they've taken, the pathway they've taken to get to where they are, for clarity. Little steps. Nobody's telling you to go and fly onto a mountain. It's looking at your next step and taking it step by step. Okay. And the boot camp is coming up in June. And remember, I'll just quickly go there so that you'll be able to make sure. I'll send it to everybody actually, because I don't think I've even sent it to everybody yet. But you can get a very ridiculous price before 14th of June 2026. So you can always, it's a small group. I normally have not more than 5 people in the group. So first come, first serve. When it's full, it's full. So you have to let me know you want to be on the boot camp, so we can begin to walk through what is next. Okay. Very important. Very important. Skills versus identity. We're going to continue next week.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. Okay.
Thank you too
Thank
for
you
your
so much for your time. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Thank you,
God
Coach
bless. Have a
Ella.
nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
Thank you
you.
so
God
Bye-bye.
much.
bless
God
you,
bless
man.
you.
Bye
Bye-bye. God
bye.
bless you. Bye-bye.
Mm.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.